We are now ready to add gradients to our fruit. Unlock and unhide the outline of the banana. Unhide but don't unlock the original banana. Select the banana and move it off to the side. Deselect the outline by double-clicking on the background. Zoom in if needed. Now select the bottom of the banana and using the eyedropper tool, select the darkest shade from the side of the banana. Select the top of the banana and using the dropper tool, select the shade from the top of the banana. Repeat with the ellipses and the rectangle on either end of the banana. Now you have your base colors and you're ready to start your gradient. Open the gradient panel from the right side. The default gradient is from white to black. We will start by changing the white to one of the lightest yellow shades. Click the white box, go to your eyedropper tool, and holding down your shift key, click on the light part on the top of the banana. Then choose the dark shape. Hold down your shift key and click on the darkest area on the banana top. By holding down the shift key, you change just that instance of color on the gradient and not the entire color. Now when we look at our banana, we see that it changes colors a couple of times. It goes from light to dark, back to light again. So we are going to change our gradient so that it makes these changes. So that dark really belonged more in the center. And we're going to click and add a new gradient color using our eyedropper, holding down the shift and click up in the top area of the banana. Now select the top of your drawing and pull the gradient down in place. Now you will notice that your gradient isn't quite like the gradient that we have here, but you can play with that gradient, adjusting it. For example, you might want to add maybe a darker dot here. So you can play with your gradient this way. You can also use the gradient tool. You choose the gradient tool. If you grab the right end where the square is, you can rotate that tool and you can see that the gradient changes according to the rotation. You can also click on an end and make it shorter. So what you're going to do is play with this tool. Practice with this tool until you get the hang of it. Repeat the process for the bottom part of your pill. Select the pill. You can move the gradient into place, but you'll notice that the gradients of the two bananas are not the same. So you're going to need to change this gradient. For starters, this gradient is darker on the ends and lighter in the middle. So I'm going to start with the gradient slider, hold down my shift key, get the eyedropper tool, and click on the dark area. And repeat that for the last one as well. Hold down my shift, you've got the eyedropper, click on the dark area. Now I'm going to pull that gradient into place. And you'll see how the gradient still has a little bit of work to do. You can change colors within the gradient. You can also go over here and get your gradient tool and adjust your gradient in that way, adjusting and rotating until you get a look that looks like this gradient here. After you have finished with the gradient there, do the process to get the gradient on the end of your banana and on the stem. Part of the highlighting in the bananas is actually this stroke that goes along the top edge of the banana and this one down here along the bottom. For the top stroke, I'm going to select the top section and then I'm going to click on the stroke in the gradients. I am then going to click underneath the white, which will probably work for this stroke in the center, and then click on the black, and using my eyedropper tool, hold down the shift and grab the darkest yellow on the shape. Then I will drag this gradient into place. You'll see now that I have this color. I'm also going to go up here and I'm going to change the weight of the line to be 3, and let's see how that looks. Okay, maybe a little dark. Try 4. Okay, there we go. At 4 we can actually see the little line gradient here, and you can see the changes in it. Now if I want to put a gradient on the bottom, so it gets darker here, so I'm going to click here, go down with my shift to get a dark color. Click here, go down with my shift and get the whiter color. And then click here and with my shift get a darker color. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure I have the bottom of the banana selected, and I'm going to drag that gradient into place and check off it, and you can see now I've got these little highlights that make the appearance of the banana being a little bit rounder. Your challenge for this lesson is to use all the techniques you've learned to make the highlights and the shadows for the fruit. Don't worry about the drop shadows on the ground because we're not going to need those anyway.